Ryan Jarrell here for Fight Bananas, and I'm very excited to have my next guest on the show. He will be making his eagerly anticipated UFC debut on January the 11th at UFC Vegas 101 against Christian Rodriguez. And of course, it is Austin Bashi on the program. Austin, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to talk to you again. As I was telling you before we started here, it's been far too long, and here you are, just a few short weeks away from making that UFC debut. And I know this is something that has been a long time coming. You've really kind of taken a very calculated path to get here, and you're a huge, huge prospect that a lot of people feel like can be a champion one day. How is it? How is it like the mindset for you right now, just to kind of like stay humble, stay focused, and just take this one fight at a time when you have so many people talking to you about all the big things in your future?
Yeah, for sure. My whole career was kind of just taking one fight at a time. And for me, it's just very important to kind of block out all that noise. Yeah, it's cool and stuff to have that. But at the end of the day, I just block that out and I just focus on what matters and just training hard and getting ready for this next fight.
Do you think it's going to feel any different when you ultimately do make that walk to the octagon for the first time? I mean, you did it in Contender Series, but this will be a little bit different. Did it feel different when you made the walk for Contender Series?
So this is going to be at the Apex again, so it'll be same thing as Contender Series. But to be honest, for me, it felt the same fighting at Contender Series and like fighting at a regional scene. At the end of the day, you're just locked in a cage, and for me, it kind of felt the same, to be honest with you.
All right. Do you wish the fans would be there? I mean, I think a lot of people would like to see you fighting in a big arena with screaming fans. Does that make a difference to get you hyped up more?
It's always nice to have fans there for sure, but Contender Series was actually real nice, real quiet. Could hear a lot better, could hear my corner a lot better, but of course, with the fans, it's much bigger and better.
How was that, or how challenging was that for you? I know you had a last minute opponent change. Like, was that difficult for you to kind of, I don't know, stick to your game plan, or how does that change for you when that happens? Has that ever happened before?
So it actually happened a lot to me coming on up. So it was just kind of more of the same. My coaches told me nothing different here, more of the same. Opponents back out 48 hours before, and it was the same thing that happened to me. So it was nothing new to me.
Do you like, getting a full camp now? Because it's been a little while since the Contender Series fight. Is it nice to just kind of get as sharp as possible rather than, take a short notice fight? Or sometimes, guys like that. What do you like more? What do you prefer?
For sure. No, I really like a full camp. I could get in the best shape I could and could really focus on an opponent.
How old are you now?
I just turned 23.
23. My goodness. It's crazy. Like you're right here making your UFC debut, and you could legitimately be someone competing at the highest level for the next 20 years. Do you think about that? Would you want to fight into like your early 40s, or is that too long for you to be in this game?
I just not really thinking that far ahead, but 40s is kind of a long time. I've been fighting professionally for only 4 years, but to be honest, it's already felt like 20 years, so I can't imagine me going until 40.
Yeah. Oh, that's you got a long time ahead of you, my man. And I know you're a very religious man. Are you is you Christian?
Yeah, we're Christian Catholics.
Yeah, okay. I was raised Catholic myself. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about like how how that is so important to you when it comes to just, staying focused with training and just how that plays into your day to day?
Yeah, for me, it's without Jesus, I'm literally nothing, and that's where I get all my the reason I'm here today and placed in this position is because of him. And without him, I'm nothing. And he helps me day to day. And my plan is to be using my platform to keep saying his name in front of millions around the world watching.
Why do you fight, Austin? Is it the competition? Is it you like the sport? Like is there a certain reason why, you wake up every day and you go to the gym to train, to be the best in the world?
Two main reasons, honestly, is number one is to glorify Jesus' name in front of millions around the world watching. And just coming up when I was very young, I just always loved fighting, loved everything about it. I just like getting locked in there and seeing who's the best man and coming out on top.
I don't know that I've ever asked you this before, but do you have an all-time favorite fighter? Like someone that, you looked up to as a kid, you're like, "Oh, that's the pinnacle right there. That's my favorite."
GSP, Anderson Silva, those two were very big coming up, and people like Chuck Liddell, like some legends like that.
Okay. All three of my favorites right there. Do you think that, martial arts as a whole creates, just good people? I mean, I met some of my best friends in martial arts and, obviously no matter what field you're in, there's going to be some good and some bad or whatever, but do you just think like the discipline and, how it kind of keeps you focused because you have to be focused to be good at the sport. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that and how, it can create good people?
Yeah, honestly, like some people look at martial artists like these bad guys, but really they're some of the best people. They're some of the baddest men in the world, but when it comes down to us, a lot of these guys are very humble and just straightforward and could really just help you with your whole entire life.
And do you think it's really like that discipline that you have to have? Is that like the main factor that keeps you kind of, on track to, accomplish goals and just stay focused?
Yeah, I 100% think it's all discipline. People can get carried away very quickly, but if you just stay focused and stay on task, you'll make it to where you want to make it.
And when you look at your new weight class now, your new promotion, how do you feel, you fit in with a lot of these guys? Like how big are you compared to a lot of these other guys at 145?
I would say I'm a pretty good size 145er. I was very, very big at 135, and there were some very tough cuts, and I was young making these cuts, and they're just getting too tough for me. And but at 145, I'm not small.
What do you typically walk around at these days?
Walk around at like 170-ish.
Okay. Yeah. So you get up there. So making bantamweight down the line, that's never going to happen again. If anything, maybe you entertain a fight at lightweight.
Yeah, 135. I don't think I could even physically make that anymore.
So 155, would that something that you do like short notice down the line? I mean, I know right now 45 is your home, but if you got the right matchup, was that something you consider?
Yeah, for sure.
Ilya Taporia is the new featherweight champion. Did you expect him to do what he did to Max? I know I didn't as much as I think Taporia is the man. I just didn't see him knocking out Max. What were your thoughts on that?
Was very surprised. Max really doesn't get knocked out, but Ilya has some crazy power, and it was crazy to see.
Do you think Volkanovski can get the title back? It looks like that might be the next matchup here for the champion.
Volk has been one of my favorite for these past couple of years. I could see him getting the job done.
All right, give me a couple picks here this weekend before we transition back to your matchup. UFC 310. You got the 125-pound championship, Alexander Pantoja versus Kai Asakura. Who do you see winning that fight?
Oh, I see Pantoja winning.
Do you think it's going to be a tough one? Do you think Asakura is going to be game and maybe take it to the judges, or do you think Pantoja is just going to dominate?
No, I think it'll for sure be a tough fight, and then Pantoja is gonna wear him out. I feel like.
All right. And the co-main event, I think a lot of people, Austin, are equally as excited to see Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov. What do you think we're going to see in that welterweight bout?
That's another exciting fight, two undefeated fighters, but I'm gonna go Shafkat with that one.
Do you think he finishes him?
No, I think he edges out a decision.
Okay. That's kind of what I'm thinking myself. All right. January 11th, UFC Vegas 101. It'll be here before you know it. Tell me a little bit about this camp, man, and who you've had around you specifically to kind of get you ready for Christian Rodriguez.
Had the same people I've had since I was 8 years old, same exact coaches, same exact teammates, and feel like that plays a really, really big role in my whole career. I started with these coaches and I'll die with these coaches, and these are the same exact people that'll help me all the way to the top.
That's interesting too to hear you say that because you hear a lot of guys when they make it to the UFC, they feel like they need to branch out or get other looks in training. Would you bring guys to Warrior Way martial arts to kind of give you the looks that you need, or do you feel like you have everybody at your disposal there to get you ready for any type of opponent?
I really feel like I have the right guys. There's a lot of tough guys here. Some of them don't even compete, but they help me get ready, and a lot of tough guys here.
Anyone that can kind of like mimic Christian Rodriguez and his style?
Yeah, I have a few training partners that help me with that, mimic his style and try to be like him.
What do you think of his most recent fights? He had that loss to Julian Erosa, the split win over Isaac Delgarian. A lot of people didn't agree with that outcome. Where do you feel like your skill set matches up against his? How do you see the fight shaking out?
He's obviously very tough. He's beat some tough guys, but I'm gonna make it dirty. I'm gonna make it dirty in there, and I'm gonna really draw on him, and I'll finish him in the second round or early third.
Do you think that your fight style is exactly what the MMA community, the fans want to see? Because you bring it in there, you bring the fight, you're going, you're looking for finishes. Do you feel like your fan friendly style is really going to kind of elevate your popularity here as you get into the UFC?
Some people like my style, some people don't, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's what gets the job done and what's gonna get me the win and the finish.
Who will you have in your corner come fight night? Will it be the same guys?
It'll be my coach Matey, Brandon, and my brother Avon.
All right. How do you like Vegas? Do you like fighting there and just the travel? What are your thoughts on the Apex as a whole?
Yeah, I like Vegas a lot actually. Even just being there, it's a pretty crazy city. I love being there. Fighting in the Apex was great.
Do you gamble at all?
Play a little bit here and there.
What do you like? What do you typically play?
Usually blackjack.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with you now officially being a UFC fighter, you can't bet on the fights, but is that something that maybe you did before you signed with the UFC?
Sometimes me and my brothers used to, but yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that now.
Yeah, yeah.
Austin, as we get closer to January 11th, too, like I'm curious, like what does your diet consist of these days? Like what are you typically eating to keep you where you need to be weight wise?
Yeah, I have a dietitian. He has a lot of UFC fighters he does as well, and he kind of just sets up my whole plan, and I have a whole bunch of stuff I could just pick from, and just pretty much lean meats, carbs, fats, just a little bit of everything.
Do you like Greek yogurt? Is that something that you have in your diet at all?
Yeah, every night actually I have that.
Okay. I have this new fixation with vanilla Greek yogurt, and I'll put a scoop of protein powder in it and mix it up so it's like 60 grams of protein, and then I top it with raspberries, and it's literally like the best thing ever. I feel like I'm eating ice cream.
Yeah, I do that too with the protein.
Very cool, man. Well, I'm excited to see you make your debut, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Again, January the 11th, UFC Vegas 101, Austin Bashi meets Christian Rodriguez. Before we do officially sign off here, man, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug or anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, of course. Thank you to all my fans who continue to support with me since the beginning. I want to thank you guys as well. And just at Instagram, you can find me at Austin Bashi.